suggest that the lives and the practices of the other do not really matter. Another point to keep in mind is that all rules in ancient India did not share the same faith. This division also ignored the rich diversity of the subcontinent. Also, the periodization of Indian history is borrowed from the West. In the West, the modern period was linked with the growth of forces or modernity, like democracy, science, reason, liberty, and equality. Medieval was a term used to describe a society where these features of modern society did not exist. However, under the British rule, India did not enjoy equality, freedom, or liberty, nor did she experience economic growth or industrial and cultural progress. Therefore, many historians use the term colonial to refer to this period, modern period. In India, the death of Aurangzeb in 1707 AD is considered at the end of Mughal period and the beginning of modern age. But in European history, modern age began in the 16th century. None of the periods are alive in history. The way the people in the past lived was different from the lifestyle of men. Today, the historians have divided history into three periods that differentiate the features of society, economic, culture, and politics of each period. The modern period started in the 18th century. It certainly brought a lot of changing trend in the society. Such changes were noticed in Europe first. It later made its impact in India. Modernization and colonization. The 18th century is regarded as the darkest period in Indian history. The death of Aurangzeb in 1707 marked the end of the reign of the great Mughals. Modernization created a growing need for various kinds of goods and resources in Europe. Some European countries explored the parts of the world and established trade settlement at many places. Gradually, they established political controls over large areas around their trade settlements. They used the resources of these areas to fulfill their own political, military, and economic needs. This process came to be called colonization. The national archives. While artifacts of different periods are preserved and displayed for the public in museum, important historical documents and the records of government, families, and other organizations are stored in archives. The National Archives of India was established in New Delhi in the 1920s. Documents available here have helped scholars immensely in writing the history of this period. It houses actual proceedings of meeting of government officials, government orders, legal acts, letters, eyewitness accounts, diaries of officials, letters written by Indian nationalist leaders to each other, and records of court proceedings, firemen, and old books. Surveys. The British believed that to rule any country effectively, it is required to know that country properly. Therefore, detailed maps of the entire country was prepared during the early 19th century. Revenue surveys, botanical surveys, geological surveys, archaeological surveys, forest surveys, etc. were carried out under the British. Revenue surveys were conducted in the villages to know about the topography, soil quality, flora, fauna, local history, and the cropping pattern. Around 1871, the British completed their first census surveys of India. Thereafter, such surveys were carried out every 10 years. The census gave a detailed account of the total number of people living in all the provinces of India, including their religious, castes, occupations, and economic conditions. Historical buildings. The British built several buildings during their 200 years rule in India, some of which are still fairly well preserved. Some are in fact still in use. They represented a style different from one preferred by the medieval ruler of India. Some of them were built to mark important events of the time. For example, the Victoria Memorial in Kolkata, Victoria Terminus in Mumbai, Fort William in Kolkata, and Rashtrapati Bhavan are some of the important buildings constructed during the period. Besides, the British also founded towns such as Shimla, the summer capital of British rule. These also provide valuable information for writing history. Other sources. In earlier times, very few people know how to write. But in the modern period, many men and women begin to write and express their joy, sorrow, anger, and other experiences. Remarkably, many women also begin to write during this period. Rasundari Dasi was the first woman to write an autobiography in Bengali in 1876 named Amar Jeevan. Books that contain collections of speeches by Nehru or several volumes of Gandhiji's collection work or important works by great leaders like Maulana Abul Kalam Azad and Dr. B.R. Ambedkar are extremely important. These books present the Indian perspective. Newspapers were also published in India during this period. These helped in understanding the views and opinion of the Indians. The above mentioned literary sources serve as major sources of history. These rarely capture in the life of tribals, peasants, mine workers, or poor people in the streets. Their experiences and their history was totally different from those of the literate society. To know more about them, we need to look deeper in this, and this can be done by a thorough and unbiased study that we will attempt to do. Did you know the Bengal Gazette published in 1780 was the first newspaper in India? The Times of India, the Pioneer, Madras Mail in English, Tilans Kesari in Marathi, etc. were the other popular newspapers. So, as a homework, you will read this chapter briefly and understood the sources for knowing the medieval period's history. Is that clear? Colonization is a process of subjugation on one country by another, which leads to political, economic, and socio-cultural changes in the conquered country. A colonizing country exploits the resources as well as the people of the subjected country to promote its own interest. India became a colony. The Mughal Empire declined rapidly after Aurangzeb's death in 1707. Many independent kingdoms came into existence in India. The British began to colonize India in the mid-18th century. The British and their missionaries initially came to India for trade and commerce and for the spread of Christianity. They had no political ambitions, but they were lured by the riches and wealth of India. Taking advantage of the unstable political conditions of the 18th century India, they gradually established their stronghold on all the major economically flourishing centers. You will study later on as to how, after the battles of Plassey 1757 and Buxar 1764, the Indian economy was transformed from a surplus and self-sufficient economy to a colonial economy. In this way, India became a British colony in the 18th century. Sources of modern Indian history. There are abundant sources of information about the modern period. Some are primary sources, which include original documents such as reports, artistic evidence like articles, newspaper reports, paintings, books, photographs, videotapes, and archaeological remains such as temples and monuments. Some sources of information are secondary, which are taken from the reports, reviews, and conclusions made by the historians. The modern age is learned mostly from the literary and documented evidence when compared to the ancient period, which depended on the fossils, cave paintings, coins, and pottery. Official records. Official records of the British administration are an important source of the study of modern period. The British laid great emphasis on writing. They got every instruction, plan, policy, treaty, agreement, decision, and investigation, etc., penned down. It became easier to study, ponder, and discuss matter in this way. As a result, all administrative offices from the local to the central level had record rooms where official documents such as letters, departmental records, survey reports, agreements, and notes were preserved. In the early years of 19th century, these documents were copied out and beautifully written by calligraphists for record. But with the spread of printing press in India by the middle of the 19th century, these documents were printed in multiple copies. Besides records rooms, the British also built museums and archives.